What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with UFC reveals what's next after USADA. On Thursday, UFC Executive Vice President and Chief Business Officer Hunter Campbell and UFC Senior VP of Athlete Health and Performance Jeff Novitzky spoke with media members regarding the imminent end to the USADA UFC partnership. The press conference was controversially held without a live feed for fans to watch, earning the UFC considerable criticism from the MMA community. Fortunately, longtime reporter Aaron Bronstetter and a number of other outlets provided notes on the press conference, revealing that the UFC will be partnering with Drug Free Sport International to handle all testing going forward, with retired FBI agent George Pirro leading the program. In addition, Bronstetter relayed some serious information from Hunter Campbell, who alleges that USADA could be legally liable for accusations made against Conor McGregor. According to Mark Raimondi, the UFC is demanding a retraction and apology from USADA by the close of business on Thursday. The development is in alignment with comments Dana White made earlier on the Pat McAfee show regarding the future of testing in the UFC, shutting down talk of no more testing.
We would still pay an independent company. It's the best way to do it. But a lot of people are not happy with USADA. Our deal is up at the end of the year.
Interestingly enough, in the case of fighters looking to leave the USADA testing pool, Hunter Campbell has stated that things will be handled on a case-by-case basis to ensure loopholes aren't being exploited. As attorney Eric McGracken theorized, there could potentially be more at play behind the scenes than White is letting on. McGracken offered some food for thought to fans, pointing out that the end of the UFC-USADA partnership came shortly after a court ruling that dismissed Mark Hunt's doping lawsuit against the UFC. Whether or not the two are connected, we'll likely never know for certain. UFC demanded an apology from USADA by 5 p.m. yesterday, and it looks like there was no response by USADA, which means the UFC will most likely be suing them for the mistreatment of Conor McGregor. USADA tried to blame the split on the Conor situation, making him sit out 6 months, but the UFC is denying those claims, saying that they were fine with waiting. Shout out to our first comments on yesterday's video. Thanks for the support. Next, let's take a look at Khamzat or Kamaru Usman will fight Sean Strickland next. There's been plenty of speculation regarding who could get the next crack at Sean Strickland's middleweight title as of late. Leading up to UFC 294, the theory was that the UFC could be waiting to see how things played out between Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa before deciding how to proceed. According to Dana White, with Kamaru Usman stepping in on short notice, the clash between he and Khamzat Chimaev will in fact be a title eliminator. He spoke about the situation on the Pat McAfee show.
Yes, that is an absolute fact. The fact that these guys are taking this fight short notice, they will get the next shot at the title, barring injuries and other things that could possibly happen. But
as Henry Cejudo explained in the breakdown for his YouTube channel,
so I do believe that the key for him is make Khamzat wrestle as much as you can. Don't defend him, wrestle him. He gets to your legs. Now for Khamzat Chimaev, Khamzat Chimaev, the wolf, he is the bigger guy. He's not as experienced as Kamaru Usman, but will the wolf bring in all the tools? Will the wolf be able to bully him? Will the wolf be able to cover distance as he does, as he likes to get those takedowns?
With fight night right around the corner, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. Next up, let's take a look at MMA community roasts Gilbert Burns for body transformation. Gilbert Burns has yet to make his return to the octagon after injuring his shoulder in his #1 contender bout with Belal Muhammad. While Burns is eager to get back in the octagon, his injury has meant that he's been unable to train at 100%. In a recent video posted by Durinho, he showed footage of Kamaru Usman training. However, it was the former title challenger's appearance that caught the attention of the MMA community. In addition to Conor McGregor making a joke at Burns' expense, one fan wrote, "All this news, can we talk about the state of Gilbert Burns?" Another fan responded, comparing Burns to a funny photo of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson from a movie, writing, "Gilbert Burns out here looking like this." While another fan wrote, "Did Gilbert Burns eat Gilbert Burns?" Another fan jokingly suggested that Burns, who previously fought at 155, would move up to heavyweight next. While there's been no news regarding who Burns could face off against when he returns, it sounds as though the UFC veteran will have to ramp up his training before doing so. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at Henry Cejudo and Merab Dvalishvili back and forth. While ongoing rumors continue to indicate that Sugar Sean O'Malley could be on a collision course with Marlon Chito Vera, there's still a possibility that he and Aljamain Sterling have a rematch in 2024. As such, Henry Cejudo believes that the time is now for he and Merab Dvalishvili to fight, telling the machine to sign the contract before then taking aim at Dvalishvili in a video for his YouTube channel.
So you have a couple options.
one, you wait out and you dry yourself out. And who knows, man, I think the UFC is probably thinking about doing something with you. Dry you out and just not let you fight ever again. Or you could fight the Triple C.
After Cejudo's comments circulated the MMA community, Merab Dvalishvili fired back in a video posted on Twitter.
Hey Henry Cejudo, first of all, put respect on my name. Stop your bull disrespect. You may be humbled again. Next, fake news. There is no contract. What should I sign? Since Sean O'Malley doesn't want to smoke with real contender, and of course UFC gave their boy what he wants, I'm not gonna sitting around and waiting. I'm gonna fight with you.
With both men eager to return, it seems to be just a matter of time before a fight between the two get finalized. Next, let's take a look at Alexander Volkanovski breaks silence on Islam fight. Alexander Volkanovski will look to do the unthinkable and move up in weight on less than 2 weeks' notice in pursuit of champ status. Ahead of the fight, many have praised the champ for his willingness to step into such a high-stakes fight on such short notice. In a video for his YouTube channel, Volkanovski spoke about his preparations for the bout.
As soon as I found out yesterday, I was in the gym. Literally that afternoon I found out, hit up the boys, I go, all right, I'm doing a meat grinder, so the fight simulator straight away. I did that and then did sparring rounds this morning, so we're straight back into it and pretty comfortable where we are already, and I still got
Currently, the odds have Volkanovski sitting as a sizable underdog. However, as he proved in the pair's first fight, he can never be counted out. Sugar Sean O'Malley spoke about the situation on his Bro Malley show, echoing the sentiments of the MMA community while praising the featherweight kingpin for stepping in on such short notice.
I still can't believe Volk's taking that fight. That's crazy.
Given the situation, it's safe to say a Volkanovski win would only further his legacy. Next up, let's take a look at Dana White provides update on Conor McGregor. With Conor McGregor back in the USADA testing pool, MMA fans around the globe are eager to find out when he will officially return to action. During Dana White's appearance on the Pat McAfee show, the UFC boss was asked about McGregor's return. While mentioning the February Super Bowl in Vegas and the historic UFC 300 card, White stated,
as we go into next year, we have the Super Bowl coming up. We have UFC 300 coming up. And list goes. And, you know, I don't know if you guys know, and I know you asked me about Conor. And yes, Conor too, coming back into the mix. Hopefully next year, we'll see how that thing plays out. And finally
let's go, baby! Of course, the big question is whether or not the UFC will hold McGregor to the 6 months of testing required by USADA once the partnership terminates. Given the UFC 300 card, which is expected to take place in April, a clash between McGregor and Chandler could very well headline the historic card. The targeted April date would also give McGregor time to complete a full 6 months of testing, which many seem to consider a win-win. Next, let's take a look at UFC Fighters React to USADA UFC Split. In the wake of the news that the UFC and USADA were planning to split, many of the UFC fighters were quick to give their thoughts on social media. John Jones was quick to tweet about the situation, given his rocky past with USADA, writing, "Man, I survived USADA. First they said I was guilty of having picograms, then they considered me innocent. Next, picograms became legal. Guess what? I'm still here, still unbeaten. That BS no contest over DC needs to be taken off my record. I've never cheated in this sport, and I will stand by that until the day I die." Middleweight champion Sean Strickland was quick to give his thoughts on the matter as well, writing, "You guys, did you hear? We're all gonna be juiced up soon. LMAO, USADA, any recommendations? I'm kinda new at this." Kevin Holland joked about missing out on getting his jacket for passing 50 tests, writing, "I was trying to get that USADA jacket though, WTF?" In addition, UFC veteran Matt Brown was left baffled by the situation, writing, "This is crazy, what a show." Of course, the situation also sparked a number of jokes regarding former fighters returning, with Billy Quarantillo mentioning Brock Lesnar while writing, "Anyone have Brock Lesnar's number?" Meanwhile, former heavyweight Roy Nelson joked about himself and a number of other veterans returning, writing, "Sign me up, the juice is back, no more USADA, Overeem unretires, Belfour's back, Low T is back, good thing or bad thing, or back to a spectacle." With the UFC having since announced their partnership with Drug Free Sport International, it sounds as though the testing of UFC athletes will continue without any interruptions in the new year in order to ensure a level playing field. Israel Adesanya says he won't fight for a long time, but he will not retire. He came out on a recent podcast called The Rock, where he announced that he won't be fighting for a while and will be taking a break from fighting. Here's what he had to say.
I'm making the excuses. Strickland got me on the night because he was the better fighter on the night. I never make excuses to give him props, but now I'm going to take time to look after myself. I'm not going to fight for a long time. I'm definitely not going to retire because I know me. I'm not leaving that. I know me, but If I did, I'm fine, but I don't need to prove anything else. So I'm gonna heal myself up. You won't see me fight for a long time. Even with this slow replacement, I'm sure they called my team up, and my team was just like, he's not fighting right now.
Yeah. Cool.
But right now, I'm just like, look, 4 fights in the last 14 months. It takes a toll on your body.
Top comments. Crazy turn of events. Volk versus Islam. Usman versus Khamzat. And Conor KO's USADA. All in a few days. Dylan Dennis doing God's work. Logan caught a hefty mic to his mug. Haha, that second angle with Logan getting cracked looked like he started crying into the big guy's chest. Haha, Dana dumping USADA as soon as the Irish Golden Boy has to stay 6 months clean. Crazy what they will do for McGregor. Make sure to leave a comment and you might get featured in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss any MMA news. Check out our video from yesterday if you missed it. See you tomorrow.